Our event tonight is the New American Dream, 250 years later. And it comes at a very important moment in our nation's history. We approach the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States with many of our fellow citizens, many Americans reflecting not only about the past, where we've been, which typically celebrations like this, you look backwards, but also where we're headed. Moments like this invite us to ask questions. And I can tell you on a personal note, as a new citizen, as a person who was born and raised somewhere else, a country with much longer history and tradition in democracy and democratic principles, and those of you who do not know, I'll let you guess. There's only one answer to that. But anyway, this is an important thing for me as I had to learn about the founding of the country. I had to really learn about experiences, positive and negative, throughout the 250-year history. I had to learn how the institutions protect the country and the country protects institutions, because together they form an environment where people thrive. So the questions that many of us are really pondering today are, what does it mean to be a citizen today? Particularly poignant for, as I said, people like me. What kind of communities do we want to build? I always thought the ideal of bringing together various backgrounds, various perceptions, points of view, beliefs is enriching. And we need to really consider what role that plays in American history and for the future of America, because it has been a country where all these things came together organically for years before other countries had to face similar kind of situations. And also, how do we move forward together at a time where we are facing challenges, but I also want to say tremendous opportunities. So William and Mary is particularly excited to be partnering with the Harwood Institute for Public Innovation. Tonight's conversation is going to bring the two institutions together. The Institute's work centers on a simple but really powerful idea that the strength of our democracy depends on the strength of our communities and on the willingness of everyday people to come together to address shared challenges. This is a very, it's a simple concept, but very powerful. This is an idea that resonates very deeply at William and Mary. This year, we have the year of civic leadership, as Roxanne very nicely introduced. And what we hope to achieve through this is to affirm a core belief that education is not only about the pursuit of knowledge, but also about preparing individuals to use that knowledge in service to others. So this is when I was thinking how the Institute and William and Mary fit together, this is what came to mind. Academic excellence and civic responsibility are fundamentally connected. To be well educated is not simply to master your discipline of choice, but it's also to understand how this knowledge that you gain and you cultivate can contribute to the common good. In my opinion, as the chief academic officer of this institution, these two cannot be separated, because you have something that remains empty and rigid when we want fluid, all-encompassing. Education is critical to sustaining a healthy democracy. One of the things that have been talked about multiple times is how lack of knowledge about history, for instance, can be an issue of national security. You don't understand your rights. You don't understand what people went through. You don't understand what the foundation of the world and this particular country is. You tend to really get agitated and upset about things that you shouldn't be and act in ways that are not really beneficial for you and your community. Education builds a foundation of critical thinking, something that we know how to do very well at William and Mary, intellectual humility, which is a term I recently discovered but I really like. A willingness to listen and the courage to engage across differences. I mean, how good would it be if we were all the same? But it's through the differences and how we communicate through the differences and how we really try to understand each other that we enrich our own beliefs. Meaningful dialogue is essential in education, and it's essential in our civic life. It allows us to exchange ideas, build understanding, and imagine new possibilities together. This is why conversations like this today are really important. It is through this kind of engagement that institutions like ours, William and Mary, continue to fulfill their historic mission, which is to prepare thoughtful, engaged citizens who will contribute to the life of their communities and to the future of our democracy. So we are honored tonight to be joined by a leader whose life's work embodies these values. It is my pleasure to introduce Richard C. Harwood.